I remember being born. No, that's not true. God, wouldn't that be unbelievably bad? Oh, God. I remember being upstairs at our house in Charlotte and being on my rocking horse, grooving to Elvis Presley's Hound Dog. In the same house in Charlotte, I remember flipping myself intentionally down the stairs for fun. I remember mowing lawns to earn money for Beatle albums. I remember that I was such a bad student that every time I'd bring home bad grades, my parents would take away something. By the time I was a senior in high school, all I had left were a pair of underwear and a mattress. I remember a girl across the street from me, 2 years older, named Fran Kernigan. And the first time I saw her sunbathing in her bikini on the driveway, it changed my life. I remember 9/11. And I remember losing my friend Adam White on that day. I went to the 1964 World's Fair. I was in the UK when Lady Di was killed. I remember when I was on the playground, I gave some poor kid my winter jacket and went home without mine, and my parents asked what had happened, and I told them. They never said a word to me about it. I remember the military draft, and my draft number was 311. You know what 311 means? That means they'll draft lunatics and farm animals before me. I remember the first time I walked in a radio station, and I knew right then that's what I wanted to do for a living. I remember the first concert I ever attended, the Beach Boys, in 1964, and I was 10 years old. I remember the last interview I did on the radio was with Bruce Johnston of the Beach Boys. I remember going in to work my shift at a radio station, and the guy that was working ahead of me, I was attacked by his pet monkey. It's not really funny, but I can't bring it up without laughing. I remember when Elvis Presley died and when John Lennon was killed. I remember when the Russian gymnastics team trained here, and the day they left, there was nobody in that parking lot with a dry eye. I remember losing way too many friends, way too young. I remember holding my niece for the first time. I remember being 10 years old. My mom would drop us off downtown on a Saturday morning, and we'd go straight to Reverend Pearlie Brown, watching him play blues guitar on the streets of Macon, Georgia. I remember going to the trick shop downtown, and the woman that worked behind the desk only had one leg. I always wondered if that was a trick. I remember going trick-or-treating for Halloween. Not being a very good speller, every year I would go dressed as Supper Man. Hey dear, here's that elder kid. Better put on another plate. I remember the first time my sister tried to drive a 5-speed. I remember trying to get myself invited over to my rich friends' houses to spend the night so I could watch color TV. I remember one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced was a 14-year-old blind boy reading from a Braille Bible at the Blind Academy. As we share our lives with one another, the world becomes a smaller and more tolerant place. Keep sharing.